At the end of the 19th century, when women were expected to remain quiet observers of their own lives, a bold and unconventional voice emerged. This is not a story about grand romance or dramatic confessions. It is about a single moment, a small object, and the unspoken power hidden within restraint. A little gray glove is brief, yet piercing. And once heard, it lingers far longer than its length suggests. We are in the fin de siècle world of the 1890s, a time of rigid expectations and carefully controlled appearances. Women were taught to feel deeply, but speak softly, to observe rather than to act, to endure rather than to decide. This story lives inside that silence and quietly challenges it. The author is George Egerton, the pen name of Mary Chevalita Dunbright, one of the most daring literary voices of her time. Egerton wrote from the inside of female experience, with psychological depth, emotional honesty, and quiet rebellion. She did not write to comfort. She wrote to reveal. A Little Gray Glove does not rely on plot twists or dramatic resolution. Its power lies in perception. Through a fleeting encounter and a seemingly insignificant detail, the story explores desire, autonomy, and the internal lives of women. What appears small becomes symbolic. What is left unsaid carries the greatest weight. This is a story about awareness. The moment when observation turns into understanding. This story deserves to be heard because it speaks in whispers. Because it captures a truth that could not be spoken openly in its time. And because its emotional clarity feels strikingly modern. It reminds us that even the smallest gesture can reveal an entire inner world. If you enjoy listening to timeless, thought-provoking stories like A Little Gray Glove, you can support the channel by subscribing and liking this video. Now, sit back and let this quiet, powerful story unfold. Enjoy. A Little Gray Glove. Yes, most fellows' book of life may be said to begin at the chapter where woman comes in. Mine did. She came in years ago, when I was a raw undergraduate. With the sober thought of retrospective analysis, I may say she was not all my fancy painted her. Indeed, now that I come to think of it, there was no fancy about the vermeil of her cheeks, rather an artificial reality. She had her bower in the bar of the Golden Boar, and I was madly in love with her, seriously intent on lawful wedlock. Luckily for me, she threw me over for a neighboring pork butcher, but at the time I took it hardly, and it made me sex-shy. I was a very poor man in those days. One feels one's griefs more keenly then. Later, I fell in for a legacy, and women discovered my attractions, or so they said. Being an only child, I never had the opportunity of studying women closely. Their ordinary belongings were sacred to me. I had ridiculous, high-flown notions about them. I tried to study them in books, but women in books were as varied and contradictory as salmonidae. My friend Ponsonby Smith, an old fly fisher, divided trout by 4 true types. Some writer divided women into good uns and bad uns. Both systems failed me, so I studied them myself. French, German, Spanish, English, innocents, widows, ingenues, and the more I saw, the less I understood. Eventually, I gave them up. Took to rod and gun instead. Pro-salute anime. For 12 years, I wandered the world. Finland sunrises, Drakensberg sunsets, the Val, Canada, Central America, Mauritius, but always shy as a chub at the shadow of a woman. What has this to do with the glove? True, not much, yet it accounts for me. Last year I returned to England on business. Another legacy. Wanted to run to Finland, but had to stay. They recommended me a trout stream in Kent. An unknown stream, decent inn, all I required. I arrived. The glove now lies beside me as I write. A delicate gray suede, silver whipping, darker silk tag, scented faintly. Size 5 3/4. I startled the landlady arriving with all my traps, took the shared sitting room, changed into knickerbockers, sat in the shiny armchair by the open window and looked out. River winding right. Trees casting trembling shadows, red farm roofs between beaches, a dusty wagoner drinking ale, and then that strange lonely feeling England always gives me. Something wanting, something coming. Inside the room, a work basket lined with blue satin, lace over blue linen, gold thimble, scissors ideal for fly making, floss silk and tinsel the color I'd wanted. A light step behind me, someone passing upstairs, a feeling I could not shake. After supper, I walked to the river. Silver gray evening, lemon and pink sunset streaks, smell of dust after rain, boyhood memories rushing back. I turned towards the stream. Helloa! Someone before me. An angler, hidden by elder bushes. Beautiful casting, delicate upstream, perfect placement, quick and fine. Growing dusk. I hurry forward, swerve left. Sis! A sting in my ear. The tailfly is fast in it. A slight, gray-clad woman lays down the rod and comes toward me through the dusk. And this was how it began. I am very sorry, she says, quiet and soft as the evening itself. But it was exceedingly stupid of you to come behind like that. I didn't think you threw such a long line, I stammer. Hold this. She hands me a tiny fly book, takes scissors, snips the gut. Have you a sharp knife? If I strip the hook, you can push it through. Lucky it isn't cartilage. I hand her the knife like an idiot. She strips the hook calmly, as if doing this were usual. Her gown soft gray leather belt, silver clasp, hands soft, cool, steady, a touch disturbingly tender. I push the hook through. Drop of blood. She cries, "Oh!" But I insist it's nothing. We both laugh. I see her properly for the first time. White forehead, stray tendrils of hair beneath gray cap, gray eyes steady and smiling, and that mouth, soft, curved, maddening. I'm sorry I spoiled your sport, I say. That doesn't matter. It was time to stop. I got 2 brace. 1, a beauty. I look. They are beauties. What fly? Yellow dun. But your assailant was a partridge spider. I sling her basket over my shoulder. She accepts it naturally. We walk toward the inn. Novel delight in her nearness. Rustle of skirt through meadow grass. Scent of violets. Something of herself, too. I think I knew she would turn into the inn garden. Better bathe that ear. A few drops of carbolic, she says, then disappears into the kitchen. I go to the sitting room. Milk and oaten cakes on a tray. Too restless to sit. Stand at the window, listening for her step. What a fool to be shaken by a gray-clad witch with a tantalizing mouth. She enters. I forget everything. She sits quietly, a wedding ring on her hand, but somehow I do not think about what it means. Her hands, prettiest I've seen, delicate, orchid-like. She leads me to talk of Africa. Her eyes glow, then catch light as she leans forward. Long ago when I was a girl, she says once. Long ago? I echo. Surely not. Oh yes, you haven't seen me in daylight. A soft laugh. Gypsies say, never judge a woman or a ribbon by candlelight. Moonlight too. She rises, takes work-basket book, says goodnight with that little inclination of her head. When she's gone, I stand by her chair, place my hand where her head leaned, imagining how she would look up. I wake next morning with the lightest heart, whistle as I dress. The morning drags. Downstairs, the landlady clearing her breakfast. Disappointment. I wait for her step. Evening, I go fishing, but let the fish rest. I sit where she hooked me. Her face appears in pipe smoke. I hurry back, fearing she has left. I see white at the window. She is leaning on the sill, staring into gloom. A suppressed sob? I cough. She turns. Slight bow. A bonnet and gloves on the table. Papers too. Fear grips me. She may be leaving. Please don't let me drive you away. It's early. I half expected to see you on the river. Nothing so pleasant. I've been in town, dusty, hot, tired out. Lamp comes in. Lemonade. She is shading her eyes with her hand, weary, older. She drinks what I prepare for her, smiles faintly through eyes that have cried. Her tired face haunts me. 10 days passed. Sometimes we met at breakfast, sometimes at supper. Sometimes we fished together, or sat in the orchard and talked. She never avoided me, never sought me. Most charming mixture of child and woman I ever met. When no letter came in the morning, or no journey to town, she was like a girl, running in the gray gown, laughing, eager to fish, or pick gooseberries, or sit under trees. But when she did go to town, always when a lawyer's letter arrived, she came home tired, haggard, aged, no longer 35, more like worn sorrow. I missed her terribly when absent. She spoke nothing extraordinary, yet her presence filled space with its own warmth. One rainy afternoon, she tied me some flies. I will never use them. The lights in her hair, golden threads, tiny mole near her left ear, another on her wrist. On the 11th day, she got a letter, but didn't go to town. Stayed upstairs. I nearly wrote 20 times. I heard the landlady. Poor dear, sorry to lose her. Lose her? I should think not. I cannot imagine a future without her, yet I know nothing about her, not even if she is free. Evening. I see her gown in the orchard. I follow. We sit by the river. Her left hand, gloveless, lying next to me in the grass. Do you think, from what you've seen of me, I would ask a question out of mere impertinent curiosity? Startled. No, I do not. I take her hand, touch the ring. Tell me, does this bind you to anyone? Buzzing in my ears, blur of water and sky. Breath held. Her voice trembles. I am not legally bound to anyone, but why do you ask? Joy leaps in me. Uncontrollable. She flushes, lowers her eyes. After a moment, I half intended to tell you something. Now I must. Let us go in. I'll come to the sitting room after your supper. She looks long at the river, at the inn, as though fixing it in memory. A goodbye in her gaze chills me. Her gray gloves swing in her hand as we return. Upstairs, I hear her pacing, slow steps, tired steps. I wait, heart pounding. She enters at last, stands opposite me, head against shutter, hands clasped. Long silence. Then, you have been long out of England. You don't read papers? No. Pause, heavy as fate. You asked if I was a free woman. I don't pretend not to know why. I am not beautiful, never was. But something in me, essential femininity perhaps, appeals to men. Her throat tightens. Today, I can say I am free. Yesterday I could not. Yesterday my husband gained his case and divorced me. I want to take her in my arms, but dare not. I only asked if you were free, I manage. No, you don't understand. I didn't divorce him. He divorced me. He got a decree nisi. Do you know what that implies? Her face breaks me. I take her cold hands, hold them tight. I know the legal and social conclusions, but I never asked for that. Your past is not mine. You began for me the day we met on the river, and from that day, I ask you to marry me. She trembles, hands warm suddenly, looks at me long, deeply. Sit down. I must say something. I try to reach up. She lays my hand down gently. No, listen, without touching me. I must speak freely. She moves to the window, back in shadow. The correspondent was an old friend, childhood, girlhood. He died after the application. He would have chosen my honor over happiness. Her voice cracks. I did not defend the case. How could I? Given clever counsel, paid witnesses, no defense, divorce is always attainable. She raises her head proudly. I will make no apology, no explanation, no denial. Not to the world, not to you. Tears come again, quickly suppressed. I am very desolate. Your attention came warm to me, but I do not love you. Perhaps I could learn, but that is why I must speak plainly. She warns me gently that habit might replace love, that my future self might resent her past. She wants to save me. I hold out my hands. She brushes them aside, takes me by the beard and studies my face, searching it earnestly. She must have been deceived much. She seems satisfied. First, I must learn to think of myself as free again. It almost feels wrong to talk thus. Can you understand? I nod. Next time I must be sure, and you must be sure. You shall have a year to think. If then you repeat your words, I shall give my answer. A year. You must not try to find me. I have money. If I am alive, I will come to you. If I am dead, you will be told. My heart staggers. During the year, I shall regard myself as belonging to you and give account if you ask. But I shall not influence you. If you think better of it, don't come. I cannot move her. I kiss her hands. As you will, dear woman. I shall be here. She sits on a footstool, head against my knee. I smooth her hair. When the clocks strike 10, she rises, quietly crying. I lift her and kiss her, stammer my sorrow. She is gone. Next morning, the little maid brings an envelope. The lady has left by the first train. Inside, a single little gray glove. That is why I carry it always. That is why I haunt the inn, never leaving it for more than a week. Why I sit and dream in the old chair that holds a ghost of her presence. Why I watch the turning of seasons, dream of spring to come. Mayfly rising, midges dancing, trout growing fastidious, and of her, walking to me again across the meadow grass, through the silver haze, gray eyes shining, coming to exchange herself for her little gray glove. As we come to the end of A Little Gray Glove, we're left with a quiet truth. Sometimes the deepest connections aren't born from quick sparks, but from the courage to hold time, wounds, and uncertainty together. That little gray glove becomes more than an object. It carries the longing of a touch that never happened, the dignity of a woman stepping back to protect what's left of herself, the gentle awakening of a wandering man learning patience, and the spiritual closeness between two souls who meet not through bodies, but through moments, glances, and unspoken understanding. But what do you think? What message did this story leave with you? And if you were in their place, if you were the wandering man or the woman in gray, what choice would you have made? Would you wait a year? Would you walk away? Or would your heart choose something entirely different? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next story.